And I'd like to acknowledge everybody in front of me. I'll start with the Honorable Minister of Sport, Mr. Mbalula, and then Mebu Pape, the President of South African Football, Mr. Danny Jordan, Dr. Ivan Khoza, Dennis Mambo, Mr. Barker, next to your cousin, Dr. Ali Barker. I'd say all protocol observed. We all gathered here this afternoon with sadness. But again, we all gathered here to celebrate the life of a hero, an icon. We've all have stories to tell about shoes. He touched us in different ways. I know that I'm not Shoes' friend. Obviously, I'm younger than Shoes. I'm younger than Shoes. But there's people who grew with Shoes. People like Gobo Vale. People who know Shoes better than I. I was just a colleague and a teammate. And we come from the same area in Deep Kloof. And Shoes, Moshoeu was one of my role models. He was an icon. I looked up to Shoes. For me, Shoes was a leader. I know I'm sitting there thinking, how lucky I am not to play against Shoes. Otherwise, I would have suffered like Steve Compel and Ronnie Zondi. But I was privileged to be on the same side as Shoes. I'm talking about Shoes. I'm talking about people who've graced this stage this afternoon. Those are my mentors. People like Dr. Steve Compella was my captain. Shoes Moshoeu, who today I can proudly say I'm privileged to have known him through football, and I was privileged to know him out of football again because we used to live close to one another in Bryanston. And what a great man he was. We traveled together during the games. I remember one instance when we went to play in, I think it was Burkina Faso. And we had a day off. And I remember I said, no, you can go out and have fun. So we went out with Shoes, and we were in that country where the transportation was these motorbikes, one speed. So we were out and about and having fun. And I remember Shoes saying to me, I can ride this thing. I said, Shoes, you know what? We're here to play football. What happens if you get injured, if you fall? He says, no, Lucky, born. A1 fell. Okay, Shoes. I was young that time, and he borrowed one of the scooters. One of the girls, or one of the ladies, instead of him getting onto scooter. Actually, he just went, and he was running next to the, to the scooter. I didn't know whether he thought he could outrun the scooter. And at the end, he let the scooter go, and he just went and crashed into the barriers. And I said, "Shoes." The lady's crying. The lady's, crying for a scooter. I says, "But that thing is too fast." I said, "But you meant to ride that thing, not to run with that thing." But again, such great words, I couldn't describe it any better of what Steve Komphela has described, Shoes. For me, what I've learned from him, I remember when I used to greet him, I said, "Hi, Lisiba." And he'd say, "Okay, you know me, give me 5 cents. I'm like, give you 5 cents. He's talking about the Zuga, this 5 cents, the small one. I said, "But, Shoes, where do I get that 5 cents? He says, to me, "That's how life is. We take little things for granted. You have a 5 cents today. Because we have it in our pocket, it doesn't matter that much. Lose it. Lose it. Can you find that 5 cents today? How hard it is to find that Zuga." And he says, that's how it is. That's how life is. Don't take somebody else for granted. Each and every one of us has got a purpose. Like Shoes. Like Shoes, as I said, that I was privileged to have met him in the field of play. I was privileged to meet him outside the game. Because I've learned today that once you treasure something, use it wisely. Use it constructive. Use it in a way that you can make a difference, whether it's in your community or whether it's whatever you do with it. And that's Shoes for me. I think Shoes gone too soon. We've lost not only the skill that Shoes had, but we lost the knowledge that Shoes could have imparted with us. But for me, ladies and gentlemen, Shoes has finally retired. He's hung his boots forever. But we'll never forget Shoes. Shoes will always live in our minds. We'll always emulate Shoes. And that, I think, it's a great example that youngsters today, let's emulate Shoes. Each and every one of us here on this stage, we're talking how great Shoes is. Shoes embodied professionalism. Inside the field of play, outside the field of play. Shoes, he will give 100% to whatever he does. Shoes will stop. I've spoken to a few people because we used to live close to each other. We used to call the spa close by Spaza. I used to go to Spa a lot. I used to meet Shoes. And in the last few days, I went to the spa. And everybody asks me about shoes. How is shoes? What's happening with shoes? I mean, that's the kind of person he was. He could talk to anybody, anytime. He'll stop on his way, wherever he goes, to talk to you. And today, listen, I feel so sad that Moshoeu has departed. And I was privileged enough to go and visit him a couple of times in hospital. And knowing Shoes as fit as he was, I mean, to see him suffer, to see him struggle the way he was struggling, to see Shoes fighting. I mean, Shoes was the fittest of most of us. And I think if we can take leave, especially the youngsters, if we can take leave out of Shoes' legacy, you know, and he used to say to me before, or to anybody when they call his name, "Hey, Shoes, how's it?" He says, "You know me, you live long." That's Shoes. He says, "You know me, you live long." Apart from giving me 5 cents. But listen, I want to say today, I'm here with respect and paying tribute to the man who's contributed towards our community, to our football, immensely. I mean, I know Clive was talking about Shoes as a dead. I mean, was unbelievable. As a defender, in the same game where Shoes was playing, there's a time where sitting at the back, admiring Shoes' skill, in the same game, sitting in the dressing room looking around, looking into the faces of the players and see Shoes. I mean, when you look at the team list, you know number 10. It's only one person. You can, number 10 jersey is for Shoes Moshoeu. And when I look at Shoes, I gather strength. Shoes will always have something to say. Shoes will always give you advice. I mean, I remember when we played against Besiktas in Turkey. And I called Shoes, I said, "Shoes, we're playing Besiktas in the Champions League. Can you just give me?" He says, "I get home into it." He says, "Luki, Pona, Luna le kai tshwara, ba matha fela." Yeah? Arbona ke a ba tseba man. Wena sha batho. Yeah. As he said before to me, when we played against other teams here in Mzansi, he said, "Luki, faka part." But I'm privileged today and I'm honored to have the opportunity, you know, to say a few words about my experience that I had with a man that I've called a brother to me. It's not everybody that you look up to like that and call the brother, but I think for us, especially Mambosh, all those youngsters who were coming into the team, we knew Bom Togis, Libo Shoes, we respected those people. Those are the guys who opened doors for us overseas. Those are the guys that we looked up to. For ideas. Those are the guys who've learned dedication, respect from. And today, we respect Shoes not because he drove big cars. We respect shoes, not because he dressed well, but he never dresses well. Anyway, he never dressed well. He used to come to training with an overall. But that was shoes. So, for me, I think, Robert, I know there's a lot of people that wants to come on stage and say a few words, and it's an honor and it's a privilege. And I want to say to Mamorini, lefu ke ngwetsi ya malapa otlhe. Re leboga fa o re letleletse gore le rona re kgone go nna le motho o a re rotloetsa go tshwana le shoes. To osi ke re gomotsegang mo lelapeng lotlhe ke re a re gomotsegeng re itse gore shoes o ile mo lefatsheng leno mara ga re kitla re mo lebala o re sile le digopotso. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for respecting this man. And I'd like to appreciate the opportunity and say, the spirit of shoes will never die. Kids will always run on the street with shoes on their back. And thank you very much, and really appreciate it.